Hello and welcome to week 4 of the Full-Circle Reboot series. Last week we talked about using our intuition to choose foods that are good for us and increasing how much we chew in order to improve our digestion. I got to experiment with those concepts by 1. Taking note of how different foods made me feel, and 2. Counting the number of times that I chewed my food. My custom homework assignment was to work on my new health coaching program, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, it did not happen. So I actually had an incredibly busy week last week and had plans to go and hang out with friends for St. Patrick's Day, so that actually kind of set my filming schedule back, and that's why right now you're seeing me with pretty much no makeup on except for powder so that you don't go blind from the shine of the oil on my face. Yeah, I'm just wearing some powder and like a muumuu. So I did not get a chance to work on that health coaching program. And that's something that's really actually kind of important for us to discuss, is that, sometimes when you're going through these kinds of programs, you're gonna have a lot of goals that you're trying to achieve. And sometimes you're not gonna achieve them all. You're gonna have weeks where life happens and, you just gotta keep pushing through, and you can't beat yourself up for not getting a particular task done. I will eventually get around to actually working on the program, and if I'm lucky, I may even get to work on it tomorrow. But, as of this week, that particular goal has not been completed. But anyway, here's what I learned from the assignments that were based on last week's lesson. When I counted how many times I chew my food, I actually ended up discovering that I already automatically chew my food even more than is actually recommended. And this probably has something to do with the fact that my teeth actually don't meet up all the way, especially those grinding molars that are necessary for making food particles really tiny. And so it kind of surprised me, but at the same time made sense. So I don't really know how to figure out how much I would actually need to chew food based on that, but since I don't really seem to have digestive upset just based on that alone, I'd say I'm doing fine. As for noticing how different foods make me feel, I've been paying attention to this for far longer than just the past week. And what I've noticed is that in the morning, I don't tend to tolerate meat, eggs, or dairy all that well unless it's yogurt and I'm not eating it right before going for a run. For some reason, these foods at breakfast time make me feel heavy, gassy, and a little nauseous. So as you can imagine, growing up in a Southern family where every breakfast was eggs, bacon, biscuits, and gravy, that was kind of tough. I typically can't eat red meat for more than 2 meals in a row, otherwise I get sluggish. With processed foods, I have to be very careful and limit those things a lot. The salty foods, like crackers and chips, don't tend to upset my stomach unless I eat a lot of them, but the sweet foods like cookies, cakes, brownies, etc. can send me running to the restroom pretty soon after eating them. On the other hand, eating fresh fruits and veggies helps keep my energy up and keep me feeling light. Red meat, when limited, can be a very satisfying protein and fat fix as long as I'm exercising, but it's best if I don't add a lot of heavy sauce to it. Poultry makes another satisfying protein fix, and I usually feel pleasantly full after eating it. Quinoa is the best grain for me as it makes me feel both energized and satisfied. Rice, pasta, and bread basically just satisfy me without making me feel heavy unless I overeat them or have them coated in something not so great, like a super cheesy sauce or soy sauce. A little is okay, but I'm talking like drowned in it. Beans, also if not drowning in sauce, also make me feel satisfied with no negative side effects. I think that pretty much covers most of the important food groups, which in turn covers my talk on last week's material. So without further ado, let's move on to this week's focus: guided meditation. Guided meditation is basically meditating with a voice guiding you through a specific lesson or scenario. It's the ideal way to ease a beginner into meditation since it gives you something concrete to focus on that pulls your thoughts away from the everyday scramble. The idea behind them is to get you consciously thinking about things that you want in life, like confidence, energy, and success. When envisioning success, you should first decide which goals you're targeting. Then break those down into what steps make them happen. Do you need to be writing things in a planner? working out in a group class, eating fresher foods. Whatever steps create your eventual goals, envision them as though you are currently doing those things. Then envision yourself having achieved your goals and imagine what that feels like. How much energy do you have? What new things are you spending time doing? How does your perspective on life change? You'll want to spend a good amount of time dwelling on these positive thoughts, enough to make you feel more motivated, like catching your second wind. From my experience, it's best to do just 5 to 10 minutes starting out to keep you from getting too fidgety from sitting still. Even if you only do this for a little bit, you'll still feel refreshed and empowered after a good meditation. So you can probably guess what my homework for this week is going to be. It is going to have something to do with taking myself through a meditation. But specifically the one that I'm going to be doing is the one that Health Coach Institute actually taught us to do. They taught us a couple, but I'm going to do the first one. So I'll be taking myself through that as one of my homework assignments for this week. As for the other 2 assignments, I'm actually going to go ahead and revisit that one that I missed last week on working on my new health coaching program. And the other one is that I've got to get back into belly dancing this week because we have a hafla coming up in our community really soon that I have not done anything for except for picking out a song, and I kind of know what costume I'm gonna wear. So yeah, I'll be working on that this week. Check in next week to see how I did, and also to see me with probably some better makeup next time and not just face powder and a moo-moo. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe to this channel with the notifications turned on. That is the bell icon for those of you who do not know what that means. And be sure to subscribe to Mingled Vitality on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so that you will know as soon as the next video comes out. Thank you, yes, all one of you probably that actually watched this series, for visiting my citrusy sanctuary. Peace out.